All right, everyone, and then see they're already talking in the background there. Hey, so this is awesome. So I'm the Undead Viking Lance Meister, as you know, and I am here with two of the brilliant minds behind the game, Mythic Battles, Pantheon, and we're just going to have a quick little discussion, and we're just going to talk about the game and why you should be as excited as I am to be watching and waiting for this game, and just watching the Kickstarter and backing it, of course. So hey guys, how you doing?
Very good. How are you?
I'm quite well, thank you. Thank you for asking. That was very kind of you. So why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us what exactly it is that you do, and what exactly you have your part in this game.
Okay, so my name is Leo. And I'm a co-owner of Mythic Games, which is one of the two publishers of Mythic Battles. Mythic Battles is carried by Monolith. Monolith first game was Conan on Kickstarter, which was a great success, and we are very proud to be part of this new adventure. And Benoit.
So Benoit, I'm the author of Mythic Games and of Mythic Battles, and so Mythic Battles Pantheon, and so co-owner of Mythic Games.
Excellent. So you guys, and then just before I get too far ahead, now Mythic Battles. This was a game. This is the newest game that's in the library of the Mythic Battles games, correct?
It's a kind of reboot of a first game that I published 4 years ago.
Yeah. Yes.
When you say reboot, is it because it has super cool miniatures? Is that why it's the reboot, or
not only because we fine-tune the gameplay, we really improve it, we streamline the whole game. I mean with the material and also gameplay-wise.
Yeah, everything that we dreamed of for Mythic Battles, we could do it this time. The first time that it was released, it was before Kickstarter had completely changed the game industry. So we couldn't put any minis in it, and we had to make choices based on, okay, how can we save money on this and this, And so the game was great. The game mechanics was very interesting. And I can tell it because at the time, I was a game publisher, game magazine editor. And so I received the game, I play tested it, I loved it. And I just said, well, this game is brilliant. It just has everything of a miniatures game, but it's not a miniatures game. So I said to Benoit, that's a shame. And after Kickstarter had completely changed the industry, and after Conan, which was a tremendous success, Benoit came back to me and said, would you like to do that again, like the way it should have been? That's how it all started. And so it's a much better game than it was. So not only because it's so much more immersive because of the minis, but everything has been streamlined. Everything has been intensively play tested, and we took care. We got the feedback from the players who played the first edition, but then we also tried to improve it and give more material, more immersive, and more modes, also game modes.
It's not only about beautiful miniatures, it's also about a gameplay, a nice gameplay, I think.
Yes, I watched Paul Grogan's video just a little while ago for Gaming Rules, and he kind of went over the different methods that you can use to play the different game, and I'm really excited about the campaign mode when he talked about that, and I like the idea of playing a campaign with all the different miniatures and having an ongoing story as you proceed. So can you tell me a little bit more about the campaign mode?
The campaign mode is, it uses the basic mechanics that you discover in the skirmish mode, but then there's a twist. Instead of always playing a god and an army, you could just focus on one character. And usually, if you play a campaign, one scenario will have an impact on the other. So let's say you have some different victory conditions. If you make the victory condition, then that means you'll have an edge for the next scenario. Or if a character is killed during a scenario, then you won't see him in the next one, you see? So it's very storytelling in a way. It still uses the same mechanics, but sometimes we'll add some special rules, or we'll just focus on a particular character, a hero, or
one important thing to know is that we inspired ourselves with most of the best known myth of the Greek mythology, which is very rich, and we adapted them.
Yes, the background of the game is very important. Yeah. That's true, because you can use everything you know about mythology, all the great legends that you know, and you can have, well, like a revenge or the second round of what happened. Exactly. You see, and this is what we offer in this and in a new setting. Also, it's a very dark, very chaotic world, ravaged world, and you have the Titans unleashed, and it's just talking about Titans, would you like to see something?
Well, yes. I mean, if you've got miniatures, if you got things to show off, then yes, this is the time I want to see them.
So this is a Spartan. Where is the camera? Oh,
it's right there. Okay.
No. So this is a Spartan. This is the plastic Spartan. This is a god, so you can see the size different. This is Zeus. So
all right, show me the Titan. Show me the Titan. Oh.
So you see, you see, like the gods seem really ridiculously small, and like look at compared to a normal human. So yes, this guy is Atlas.
That is so cool. Oh man, I can't. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's just what? Oh my gosh. And who did the sculpts for you? Who did?
Well, the same guys who did Conan. So we have a team of 12 sculptors. This one is Stéphane Simon, or Simon in English. But
they're so good. I would be scared to try to paint them because I'd worry that I'd screw them up somehow. But yeah, man, those are intense and amazing. So
let's see the centaurs and
so nice, so cool. I mean, all right, so I mean, we know the miniatures are amazing, we know they're super awesome, but you mentioned the mechanics. You said that a few times. Well, just maybe as the designer, could you Benoit, could you just kind of maybe just give us a brief overlay of like how combat works? I mean, how random is it? How is it how, I mean, what would you put it as far as the strategy level or the tactic level of the game?
So one important thing I wanted when I designed Mythic Battles Pantheon is to give the opportunity to the player to mitigate randomness, meaning so you activate units with cards, but in your deck of cards, you will have a resource called Art of War cards, which allow you to have an impact on randomness. You can use these cards to draw cards, to fetch cards in your deck, to play additional units during your turn, and to activate the powers, some of the powers of your units. The thing is, it's these cards, so you get a fixed number per game, but also the characters you are drafting most of them will give you some of these cards. And the smarter the character you are recruiting is, the more cards you will get from it. As an example, Odysseus, is a very smart person, very smart.
Odysseus is the guy, who was in Troy with Achilles, who had the Trojan horse, right? Who invented the Trojan, and who had this Odyssey, right?
So he may not be the best warrior from the Greek mythology, but he's very smart. So he will provide you with free art of war cards. And on the other hand, for example, you may want to recruit a big monster, such like the Hydra. So it's very powerful, but it does not think much. So you will not get any cards from the Hydra.
Any out-of-war cards.
Any out-of-war cards, yeah. So this is out-of-war cards are really key in the game, because there are many things you can do with these cards to use your to trick your opponent, to use your powers to maximize your hand management. And also about combat. So for the combat, we use dice, and you will have the players will have the opportunity to sacrifice some dice to add one to another dice. So basically, maybe you will explain it better than me.
Yeah, the thing that is important in Mythic Battles is that randomness is not as important. You have a way to control randomness a little bit, so you make choices. For instance, as he mentioned, with the cards, the out-of-war cards are the joker that will give you a little more control. If you spend some of them, well, you can go search the card you want and add it to your hand, for instance. So the more out-of-war cards you have in your hand, the better control you have. And with the dice, the system is that you have a blank face, a blank side, which means when you roll it, it's from 1 to 6. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a blank side. If you roll a blank, it's lost. But if you roll a 5, you can re-roll it and add it on to 5. But the great thing about the system is that you can take away any die, except for the blank face that are lost, and add 1 to the result of any other die. So on a regular basis, you have 2 options: either making sure you will get 1 hit, or trying to get multiple hits, but you have to re-roll them. And if you roll a blank, you risk not doing anything at all. So it's always you get choices to make with this system.
I mean, well, you're having a dice rolling. I mean, because whenever I have battles, I want to have dice to roll, obviously. But you mentioned card drafting, which is another mechanism that I really like. So, what part does card drafting have in the game?
So you don't draft cards; you draft units.
Okay.
So for example, for a 2-player game, you will first draft a god, and then I will draft a god. Then I will start drafting units. So these units can be heroes, monsters, or regular troops. So for 2-player games, we have 12 points, and each unit is worth 1 to 4 points. So for example, I will draft first Cerberus, which is worth 4 points. Then it's going to be your turn to draft one unit among these which are still available, until everybody has spent the 12 points.
Okay, so can you mix and match anything? I mean, like,
you can mix up everything. Yes.
Okay.
This is explained by the background. The good thing is, you mentioned the first edition. Well, in the first Mythic Battles, you had 2 sides. You had like the Athena, Hades. So you could only pick Athena, troops or units or warriors if you had if you were playing on Athena's side, or you could only play Hades guys if you were playing on the other side. This time it's been a great battle. All the gods are fighting for themselves, and there's no it's free for all. So you can absolutely pick anyone, anything, any creature, any monster on your side. Which means the draft is totally free. When you start, you gather your minis, and then you say, okay, well, I don't know what I'm going to play with tonight, because we will draft. So
it's a common pool.
Yes, it's a common pool. You first draft your god, and then you draft your warriors, your heroes, your monsters, and even the survivors of this big chaos, the troops.
Very cool. So when how many? I see the game is for 2 to 4 players. Is every mode of gameplay 2 to 4 players, or is there certain modes that are only a certain number of players? I mean, just so what can we expect?
Well, yeah.
So the skirmish mode, the regular skirmish mode, is playable for 2, 3, or 4 players.
Yes.
Then the scenarios are also playable for 2, 3, or 4 players.
You have basically all the configuration possible,
yeah.
and it's all written in the rules.
Yes.
So
excellent.
if you want to play 3-on-1, it's possible. If you want to play 2 versus 2, it's possible. If you want to play 4 free for all, it's possible.
Yes.
And there are some scenarios that are specifically written for 2 persons, for 3, for 4. Sometimes
for any
for any numbers. You have a scenario that is fully cooperative. Yeah, like everybody against the system. You have one like that.
Oh, excellent.
You have some scenarios that are 3 against 1, as I said in the scenario. So when the game is released, we'll have approximately 50 scenarios, right? So that's a huge choice.
Well, how many miniatures? Lay it on us. How many awesome miniatures can we expect to have in the game?
It will depend on the success of the campaign, but we've had a great start. We are very excited by this.
Yeah, you're at like $350,000. I'd say.
I know. It's crazy in just one day.
The Greek mythology is extremely rich, and we could do so many characters.
And this time we really ready to, and we have everything in store. It's just amazing. Well, if it goes as good as Conan, you could expect the same number. That's something I can just say, right? If we go as good as Conan, then you'll have the same number of minis.
I'm looking right now. I mean, it's like you have 4 gods, you have 5 heroes, 4 monsters, 24 minions, and that's just like the base. But all these different stretch goals and everything that you are smashing and unlocking one by one. I mean, it really does look like the sky's the limit. It looks like you're just about going to hit Argonauts here in a matter.
A very good thing also in some Kickstarters, when you get new minis, it's just one new mini that you could play in one scenario. Here, every single mini that you use is a new gameplay.
Exactly.
It's a new combination that you could do. Everyone will be playable in whatever.
There are not 2 characters in the game who are doing the same thing, and all miniatures, they can do what you expect them to do as per their myth.
Yes.
For example, King Léonidas, he will be a great leader for leading troops. But for example, Cerberus, it will be a very powerful monster. It will be a guard of sorry.
And the game is allows you to do combos.
Yes.
So, but you need to play to discover them. So each time you add a new character, that's as many possible combos with all the remainder of the minis, all the other minis. So you will see that this character works particularly well with this other, but you have to try, and then you will say, okay, and what if I try this character with this one? And then you'll see the interaction. So it really is a board game with miniatures, so you really see them on the battlefield. You move, you attack, but it's also a combo game because each character has unique powers that will combo with some others. You see, so.
All right. Well, I'm getting some actual questions from people that are watching us live. So if you don't mind, I want to ask those.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so people are wondering about the language dependence. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of cards, so it's going to be those things are going to be very language dependent. How many languages is this game going to be released at? And are you going to look into having more languages having it being released in?
So at this stage, we will have English and French, and there might be more languages.
Yes. Well, yeah.
Most probably for retail.
Yes, most probably for retail we'll have some other languages, but for now we will focus on English and French, and people can choose at the end of the campaign.
All right. Somebody asked us, like, kind of a follow-up, would you ever consider possibly a language add-on to the Kickstarter? I mean, you don't have to give me an answer, but they just want you to think about that.
Well,
well, I appreciate the succinct answer, but I mean, yes.
We have a great community manager who's called the voice of Olympus, and who will answer that. But yes, we've heard that request. It's easier for us to focus because we are ready now with these two languages. This is what we did with Conan, and it did work well. We could do some languages if we reach a certain number of, if we know that we have enough backers for that. So we'll see. Very good. Okay, so then another thing, as an add-on, or are you thinking about any possibilities of having like neoprene mats, battle mats for the game, or plastic terrain? Is that a possibility? That's a very good possibility. Very likely possibility. All right, so keep your eyes peeled on the Kickstarter is what you're kind of saying right there. All right. Yeah. All right, very good, very good. Okay, and then we're getting some requests as to if you could explain the co-op mode more. You mentioned that there may be a scenario that like everybody will be working cooperatively. Could you maybe go into that a little further? Okay, so in this scenario, because there might be some others, I was just mentioning this one, but in this scenario, everybody is against the environment. Okay, we have very, very tough environments in the game, like lava, like the underworld, and you will explore these worlds in the game. You have to know that in the core box we have 4 different boards. We have Olympus, we have Tartarus, which is the prison of the Titans. We have the Minos Labyrinth, and we have c'est quoi le quatrième? And we have the Styx River, right? But altogether, we probably have a dozen other places to explore. So in one of those, it's a harsh environment, and in this scenario, well, all the players need to do one thing and not die, right? So the game will, they will have to do something, and they will have to avoid the dangers of the environment.
There is a kind of countdown, so the whole area is getting destroyed, and players will have to team up to achieve a common objective before the whole place is destroyed, basically. That's an example of a cooperative game.
Would there be creatures and things that they'd have to fight in that cooperative mode, like things that they would attack? You're talking about the environment. I'm just wondering if there's you have all these cool monsters and stuff like that. Is that something as well?
It may also happen, yeah.
Absolutely, yes. In some scenarios, the monsters are not played the same, of course, because if you're in the skirmish mode, well, you will control the creature, you will play it. If you're in a scenario, there are some rules to play this creature. So it's not necessary. It can be played by the system. It's not played necessarily by a human. So you will, if Cerberus is in a scenario, then there will be a system to play Cerberus, to see who he's going to attack, how he reacts. Is he sleeping? In some scenario, he's sleeping, and you try to steal his leash or his harness without waking him up. And there's a system that will do that, right? In another scenario, you have the Hydra, and it will attack on certain occasion if you do this or that, and you will have to do something, you see?
In this example, the heroes, they will have to team up to collect the blood of Hydra. So they will have to wound it and then to collect the blood. But Hydra will retaliate. And regenerate itself.
So this gives you an idea of how the scenario mode works. It's more of an AI, right? While in the skirmish mode, everything is played by the players.
Yes. So okay. Here's another question. I have a question, but before I want to make sure I ask this one. Is there going to be miniatures for a Sphinx, Cyclops, or a Siren? Are those possible miniatures that you'll be having in the future? Definitely. All right. My question that I wanted to ask is that, I mean, there's a lot of I'm looking at the Kickstarter page, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff says like Kickstarter exclusive, over and over again. Will those really be true exclusives? I mean, you'll never release those outside of this Kickstarter? So, no. I mean, if somebody wants them, they need to get it on the ground floor right now?
The only way you can have them, and we will stick to that. We mentioned in the Kickstarter page that the only exception would be if we have some leftovers, maybe we can use them for promotions, like we are in a convention and we'll have a few left. Maybe we'll make people win it through a contest or something, but that's the only exception. We will never sell them. It'll be done.
And so, I seriously love how your Kickstarter is just flat. I mean, yeah, if you got in the early bird, great, but it's just $99.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no like, oh, get this package and then get this pack or it's just give you guys $99 and you get a bunch of stuff and you get an awesome game. And that's the long and short of it.
Thank you.
It just on a personal note, whenever I like get to a Kickstarter and then when I have to try to like mentally compute in my head, like, okay,
well, it's very simple.
This guy and that
very,
guy.
very simple. You get you have one pledge and you get everything that is unlocked. That's very, very simple.
That's amazing.
You mentioned exclusive miniatures that we unlocked during the Kickstarter. Today we unlocked the Nemean Lion that you can see here. It's a Kickstarter exclusive.
Ooh, I want to look at this guy. Hold on. Oh, very awesome.
And look at the size.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. He's going to eat him. He's got no chance.
So your only chance to get it's through the current Kickstarter campaign.
Yes, we want to give some exclusive, because people are supporting us and it's it's Kickstarter. We want to reward, and the important thing with this Kickstarter is that we have a lot of big miniatures. Like you've seen the God, you've seen the Nemean Lion,
Titan.
You've seen the Titan. We'll have a lot of very impressive minis. So our stretch goals will not be, okay, here's another hero, a character that with just one line of statistic that change. No, every time it's a full character, totally playable, unique gameplay, and not only small minis, but sometimes we give like many minis, and sometimes we'll give you big minis, even in stretch goals. So we really want to be generous.
How big is this box going to be? I mean,
it's going to be huge. Well, we had a very good idea, cool idea, just talking like recently.
It's a premiere.
Yes, it's the first time we ever mentioned that. So you'll have the core box, which will be the same as the one that that you can have in retail when the game is in retail, because we were approached by FFG, Asmodee North America. They're very, very, very interested in the game. They want to do some organized play with us. So we are negotiating at the moment, and this will be the same box that you'll have in retail, but for all the stretch goals, we wanted a second box, and guess how it's going to be called? What is the famous box? It's going to be called Pandora's box. Obviously.
Oh, awesome! That's perfect. So, how soon before Asmodee backs up the truck full of cash and buys your company then?
Well, you never know. Well, they do that. They seem to be doing that a lot lately.
Well, that'd be a tough problem to have, I guess. Or I shouldn't say tough problem. That would be a not a bad problem to have, I guess, if they made you an amazing offer or something.
Well,
like
we first need to do a really good Kickstarter. So it's not done yet, but it's a very good start. It's actually an even better start than what we had for Conan. It's too early to say if we'll end up as good as Conan, but we started better. We have more backers than Conan at the same time.
Another thing I think was really good is how you guys, you've handled the fulfillment of Conan before this Kickstarter happened. So it's like and this is neither here nor there, but in my opinion, that bridges that gap between you and your previous backers, and you've shown that you're worried, you want to take care of them before you moved on to the next thing, and I think that's to be commended, and I appreciate that about you.
We worked closely with Monolith, and it was very clear for us we will not launch the Kickstarter of Mythic Battles before.
And we had to postpone it because we were ready. So for us, it was waiting until. Because there were issues to solve, and Conan was such a huge success, that it was tough to finish everything that and deliver. It was more work than we anticipated. So we wanted to make sure that we had delivered the game, even though, and it has to be said, you never know exactly when the last guy will receive it, because it also depends on the postal services, and we can't control that. But what we knew is that everything has been sent, right? And people are receiving it right now. 95% of the Europeans have received their box today, and now we're getting close to 60 or 65% of the Americans. So by next week, everybody should have received it. Did you receive it, Lance?
I got mine. I got my Conan. It's amazing. So just don't worry about me. I mean, but yes, it's pretty fantastic. You guys have obviously played the game several times. What's your favorite character or whatever? If you're gonna play skirmish, what's the one, if it's available, you take it for sure when you're
from the core box, right?
From core box. Let's just go. What's just personal favorite? Your personal favorite, both of you.
My personal one is Heracles.
Why?
Because it can do a lot of things. It's very hard. It's tough to wound. Is a big threat for everybody. And he is very good at mitigating. He's particularly good at mitigating the randomness of dice, and is a threat for everyone on the board. Everybody.
Very cool. And what was yours?
Mine would be.
Excuse me. Just maybe one last thing about Heracles is that he has a special ability which allows him to throw 3D sceneries on the board to the opponents. So, for example, on the board there will be 3D sceneries for trees or runes, and he will be able to.
This guy throws trees at people.
So, it's very spectacular.
That is spectacular. That's really awesome. All right, Leo, what was yours?
Mine would be Athena. Because I like the fact that first she gets a lot of out of war cards, so she's not the easiest character to play with because she can seem, for a god, a little physically weak compared to some others. But when you know how to play her, you have a lot of control on your style. On your deck, on your army. She brings out of war cards, and she has a special power that allows her to go search for 3 cards, add them to your hand, and then activate up to 3 units. In a regular turn, you only play 1 unit. The maximum you can play is 2 units. with her you can play 3 units, so you can really do like a lot of strategies, and I like to play her with some other strategist guys like Odysseus that we mentioned, or Léonidas. Obviously, of course, I would take Léonidas. Is a great character in the game. He's very good with troops. So is Athena. So when I have the opportunity, I choose her. In the game, you don't always have the choice of choosing who you're going to play with. So you need to be able to play with anybody. But when I can, I choose her.
I had a question. They said somebody like they were talking about the map size for skirmishes, and they're saying, did you run it when you were playing it? Did you run into feeling that like when you had the full 4 players, maybe you're having an all against all or a free for all battle? Did you feel like the board was a little bit too small? I mean, especially with some of the bigger miniatures that might be coming into play.
The way we dealt with that is you do not have the same number of recruitment point for 2 or 3 or 4 players. For 4 players, you have less recruitment points, so there are less miniatures on the battlefield. So you do not have this feeling.
And besides, the maps are divided into zones, right? And you have each zone will have a certain number that will tell how many units can fit in. And if you can't get in, then you have the right, just like in Conan, to attack from an adjacent zone. And honestly, we decided we wanted a zone to be not too big, so that you can take the game out easily. It's very close to the boards of Conan. The Conan boards are a little bigger on one side, but on the length, but on the width it's the same. But it doesn't feel like you would think it is, right? You would imagine that they are small and that you're going to be, but no, you don't feel that when you play.
And also the miniatures in the skirmish mode, at least they start outside of the board. So you do not have a cluster of miniatures on the battlefield, because you tend to adjust the way how you deploy your troops with how your opponent is deploying his troops. So, yeah.
And in some scenarios, you play with 2 maps.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's always good too.
So for people who really want, and we have some other ideas with maps. Well, you have to know that the Conan maps and the Mythic Battles maps are compatible. So the players who got Conan can absolutely and totally play with the Mythic Battles maps, which is interesting, right? Especially when you know that there's a region in Conan which is based on ancient Greece. So it makes total sense to use the Mythic Battles maps for Conan in this area.
Sure.
Very good. Just a question about at Conan, since we're bridging the gap here, and this kind of segues perfectly. Choco DXV wants to know about the figure that was added in Conan, and have they released information on how to use that figure that was added to Conan?
Yes, this was the figure that people got in Conan. Well, actually, not exactly this one. This one is the one we have in Mythic Battles. It has some slight differences. The Conan Mini is just a gift, a preview to show people the casting, and just as a preview of what we were going to do. It's unique, so it's different. The only way you could have it is if you backed Conan and you received your. So this unit is, well, this figure is supposed to be used as an alternate version of one of the 3 Spartans that you have. But if we, and that's planned, if we release a crossover between Conan and Mythic Battles, then you'll have the statistic of this Spartan in the Conan game. And not only that, you'll have all the statistics of all the minis in the core box for Conan. You can play, and you have scenarios that will use those characters in the Conan world. You'll have some other surprises. I'm not going to say everything, but you'll have like incredible surprises in this crossover.
All right, so I'm just looking at your Kickstarter page right now. You're at 327,000 right now, which is, congratulations. That's awesome. And you have stretch goals that list up to 360K. And I realize maybe you can't divulge. You want to keep things kind of secretive, but do you have 2 more stretch goals that you haven't shown us? Do you have 10 more stretch goals you haven't shown us? What can you give us as a last little sneak peek that maybe if you can tell us anything?
Oh, you mean the stretch goals for how long? For today? For tomorrow?
Well, no, just for the length of the campaign. Usually people have decided stretch goals will go out to this dollar figure. I'm not asking for you to give out everything. I realize some stuff needs to be secret, if you will. But just can we expect to maybe another 10 really cool miniatures coming up? Can we expect another 15 or whatever? Obviously you guys have had like you said, you spent a lot of time planning this, and I'm sure you have a pretty good idea of where this is going or where this is leading.
I would say it's up to you.
Well, yes. We have plenty of things. Of course, we're not going to say, well, we want to reach that level, but we are aiming high. We are aiming high. We have ambition, and we believe that people are going to want this game not only because of the cool minis and the beautiful minis, but because it's such a rich game. We've demoed the game
800 times.
Yeah, 800 times. Probably 2,500 people tried the game, and every time for a year and a half. Yes, and we got amazing feedback. So this is a game that you could play honestly for years. I said 50 scenarios, so if you don't like a skirmish, if you don't like to fight some other people, you can just focus on the scenario and you'll have a good time. For instance, let me give you an idea of a campaign. In one campaign, you start by playing just one character. That's the only one character. For instance, Achilles and Hector, right? Mm-hmm. And they are coming out of the underworld. So they have no powers. They are just revived, resurrected, and the first thing they need to do is to unlock their powers by finding some artifact that will help them. Hector wants vengeance. Achilles wants glory, right? And in the very first scenario, what you do is you try to go for these artifacts. So it's a race, basically. It's not all a skirmish. It's a race. And you in this scenario, in this campaign, every time you recruit someone like a troop, because you can recruit, then you'll have them on your side for the rest of the campaign. So you progressively recruit your warband. Yes, your warband till the end. And there's an excellent idea also, which is very different from the skirmish game. In this game, the gods are looking for the Omphalos. The Omphalos are some gems of divine energy that the gods try to absorb to regain their lost powers. Right? Humans cannot use them, but in this campaign, you have some fragments of Omphalos, and if one hero wants to use it, then he can have the power of a god for just one action. It's like a divine intervention, right? So if you say, okay, I'm going to summon Zeus, then you can throw lightning for just one action, and then it's over, right? You've used this power. If you say, okay, I'm going to summon Hades, then you can do fire on two zones near you, right? And you can do that for the whole campaign, all the scenarios. And every time you summon a god, you write this on a piece of paper, or you record it, and at the end of the campaign, the god that you have summoned the most will come to your side, and in the very final battle. This is an example to give you how to tell you how a campaign works. So if I'm saying that, it's because the game is so rich, and that we believe and we think that people will discover that through the campaign, and so we'll have many people joining and wanting to try the game, and we'll unlock many stretch goals. So without telling how high we'll go, we can tell you that we aim high.
Well, that's and it looks like the sky's the limit. I got a question. I realize it's getting later for you guys, so just I got another question though, and I probably can guess the answer to this one. But Joe in Arizona wants to know, if you wanted a big, larger scale battle, he said he knows for like 2 people a skirmish is 12 points. But is there anything stopping you from putting multiple maps together and having 20 points and just having like a big giant battle? Is there anything preventing that?
No, nothing.
You can do it. Yeah, just play.
It's very easy. Yeah, the system will work. You're right. You would need a bigger map for really big battles, right? If you have too many miniatures on just one map, or more than what we have planned, then you would start feeling what you said you would.
The thing is that the game will last longer, and we wanted a regular game not lasting more than 1 hour, about 1 hour. That's what we wanted. So this is why we did it bigger.
But it's possible. And it's totally possible in this game, because this is how the scenarios are made. Yeah. In all scenarios, well, the designers of the scenarios have invented some new rules to put on this core system, right? Mm-hmm. If you wanted to do like a mass battle and use several maps and put plenty of minis and just go for it, it would be possible, and it would work. The game is balanced because each character in the game is worth a certain number of recruitment points, which tell you about their power. A 3-point hero is as powerful as a 3-point monster, or as another 3-point hero. They are just so the balance is always there. It's easy to balance. So if you say, I want, instead of a 12 versus 12 point, I want to do a 20 versus 20 point, then it will work. There's no reason why it wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm. I see that you have an optional buy right now on there added on. It's like it's another exclusive of the Hell Judges. It looks like you get some cool new things. Will you have more optional buys as the Kickstarter moves forward?
Yes. We'll have several optional buys, including some real expansions. Real expansion. Yeah, this is the optional buy. This is
so 2 hours ago we released our first add-on, which are the free Hell Judges. So Léonidas just showed you Minos.
Sorry, my 5-year-old son came down to ask me what I was doing. So okay, that guy's awesome.
And this is Hecus.
Icus.
Very awesome. Oh, I love that shield.
Yeah.
And yes, we'll have several add-ons, all sorts of add-ons. This one was just a KS exclusive. That means if you don't have it here, you will never see it again. You will never have it. But we'll have some expansions that will be themed expansions. So imagine, for instance, a water expansion like Poseidon, and rules to be the sea, if you want to do naval battles, right? Naval battles, or if you want to fight on the sea or discover the sea creatures and the rules to evolve in the sea. Well, this is it. This is an example of an expansion, and we have several like that. Every time in a very different setting. I told you that it's an exploration game. We want you to discover different parts of the world, and this is what the expansions will allow you.
Yeah.
Very cool. So will you, just this is something I always ask. You'll have like before, like you did with Conan, you'll have a pledge manager at the end. So like people after the Kickstarter is done, if they change their mind and said, actually I wanted that add-on or that stretch goal or that add-on, they'll be able to change their mind and kind of mix and match after the funding is done in the 28 days, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Excellent. Because I'm always undecided and I can't decide, and then I don't know why I just don't go all in right away.
Sometimes you need a little time to.
Yeah. So I always, it's just like I was like, okay, and then it's just like, yeah, okay, here's another $300. Fine, whatever. Just give it all to me. I want the giant box stuff. I don't know. Was there anything? Do you think that we missed or anything like that at all? I mean, in our conversation. I mean, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, we haven't mentioned the fact that we are very, very advanced. We have the plastic cast for the minis, and we have a new technique. And I know it's again minis, but look at how straight this is a plastic cast. Look at how straight the spare is. You see, it's because it's made of hard plastic glued to the PVC, which is the rest of the mini. The PVC is a softer plastic, which allows lots of detail and which is how the minis are done usually. But we are innovating by having ABS, which is hard plastic, for all our weapons, like spears or swords. It can still bend, you see. It can bend, but it always come back. I don't know if you've noticed, but in some miniatures game like that, you have bendy weapons.
Yeah, you'll get them and like they're all like they're droopy, like
yes.
Like they need the little blue pill or else.
Here, they are perfectly straight, and because we just innovated. So I think this is something that we hadn't mentioned here, and which is worth mentioning for the miniatures lovers.
But they won't be brittle though, correct? I mean,
no, they're not. They won't be. Absolutely not. Look,
okay.
You see,
and they will all come assembled.
Yes. Pre-assembled, nothing to do. They're ready to play. You plug and play.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, it looks like you are knocking it out of the park with this one yet again. One question, and then I think I can let you guys go. And definitely, I mean, later on, and if you want, I'd love to maybe in a couple weeks or so after you guys are at whatever it is, $8 million or whatever you end up at being at. I'd love to have a chance to have another discussion so we can talk.
Oh yeah, sure, anytime. Really, it's a pleasure. And yeah. we really loved what you did on Conan. That was really super cool. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be talking to you. So anytime, no. Really.
that's all. That's really kind of you to say. But anyway, the one last question somebody had was, when this gets fulfilled, is it going to be a situation where everything is going to be sent out all at once, or is it going to be in waves?
Very, very good question. I don't know who asked it, but that's a very good question. Yes. We were late with Conan before, so we don't want to do too many promises, but our intention is to have one wave only, so everything sent, and to meet the deadlines, to really do it on time. So we announced a delivery December 2017. We will meet that, and that's
no, you never say that. You never say. I mean, it's admirable that you're sticking your neck out like that, and maybe you very well do it. But man, that's you never. I don't know. Okay, if you feel very, very comfortable by saying December, then you know what? My birthday's in December, so I expect.
It makes sense, right?
I expect my copies then in December of 2017. So
yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have said that, but this is our plan.
Okay,
and you have to say something, and this is what we wrote in the campaign.
My personal belief is that the vast majority of people that are using Kickstarter at this point for board games, especially board games with lots of components like this one, they understand and even in some cases really expect delays, for their things to get to them. And it's one of those things where it's just, you can't predict the future. You can't predict, when you're going to get the minis, when you're going to get the cards, when all the art will be done, all those other things. There's too many factors in play.
As you say, we cannot predict everything, but the thing is we took advantage somehow of Conan's delay to move ahead as much as we can.
This was a good experience.
We got a lot of extra time in comparison to what was the initial plan. So,
yes, we can't say for sure that nothing can happen to us. No, but what we can tell is that we are more ready than we were for Conan.
Sure.
We have the minis ready. Everything is sculpted. Everything is written. All the expansions and drawn. We have 100% of the artwork, 100% of the sculpts. And we
can supply.
We have some plastic minis already, so the molds are done. So.
Oh, jeez. So I mean. Wow. Well, you must have ideas for other stuff, right? So like the inevitable expansions that are going to come for this game in the future, correct?
Yes. The big expansions are meant to be released in store again, but as we said, we will give some exclusives to the backers. So in each expansion, you will have something that you will never find anywhere else.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate. One last question. How close will the final minis be to the prototype minis that you're showing right now?
Oh, well, they will be better than this.
Oh, really?
Yes. This is the first test. Test one. This is what we received from the factory. So this is, when you do the mold, the plastic mold, they will do some tests and they will send them, test one, and then you look at them and you say, this could be better here. Could you please change that and change that? So, and the first tests we have are already awesome, but they're ready. So they can only be better than what you see here.
Excellent. Well, hey, since we do have 30 people watching us live right now, can we see the Titan again? Can we see the different sizes of show us the warrior and the Titan and then the whole process, like how big the big guy is?
Look at the size difference.
Oh my gosh, that guy, and that's Atlas, the Titan, right?
That's Atlas.
It will not be the only one.
No.
And show us one of the Zeus mini, if you could. Oh, very cool. So awesome. I can't even begin to tell you how much I'm looking forward to seeing this in my hands. So I'm waiting. I'm just anxiously awaiting that prototype to get to me. I can't wait to see it. So. Yeah, so, okay, for those of you who took the time to watch us live, I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, and for those of you who are watching this after the fact, thank you again. If you have any questions, obviously, they can post those to your Kickstarter, and you guys will answer those as you get those, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then just go to Kickstarter and do a search for Mythic Battles. Pantheon, and then you'll be able to go ahead and back it. $99 gets you a giant box of awesome miniatures, plus a really awesome game as well. Correct?
Thank you. Correct.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, guys. This is a lot of fun. And like I said, we'll have to do this in a couple weeks or so, just to.
Absolutely. Yes. Whenever you want.
Thanks very much. All right. Well, thanks again for everything.